Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I'm ready to do my first impressions on this. This is the Microtech Troodon. It's not the Combat Troodon, it's not the Mini Troodon, this is just a Troodon. And I think in a lot of ways that this is kind of like a forgotten OTF in Microtech's lineup. Not really forgotten. Like, I see them. I see people with them. I've heard people say good things about them. But I feel like for some reason this one is less popular than the Ultratech or the UTX-85 or the Combat Troodon, which is massive in comparison, both in thickness, in length, and weight. The Combat Troodon is much bigger. The Mini Troodon, which is new, which I call the Chodon, is much smaller. I had a loaner one of those I've reviewed. And this, I think, is like the same size as a UTX-85. Based on what I understand. I think it's also about the same size as a Dirac, but not the Dirac Delta. The Delta is bigger. So the smaller Dirac and the UTX-85 should be about the same size as this knife. And this feels like a really good size for me. And I think it might kind of end up being my Goldilocks OTF Microtech. There are out the side or manual Microtechs that I love. The Stitch, fantastic knife. The Hawk, I really enjoyed. The Sigil, on my list of knives that I need to get. Loved that loaner that I had a while ago now. I want a Sigil pretty bad. So Microtech makes some great knives. There's an argument for the LUDT. I wasn't personally like blown away by it, but it's good. The SOCOM is a cool knife. I get why a lot of people love it, and it's a good knife. Not my favorite personally, but good, right? But a lot of their OTFs, I just find like they excite me for a little bit, and then I kind of get over it, and I don't actually like love them. So this one has, I don't know, it kind of occurred to me not too long ago that this one made more sense for what I look for in a knife. It checks a few more boxes than most OTFs do, because primarily it's a little bit wider across, right? And with that width, you're able to get a little bit of a wider blade profile, which is good because then you have taller grinds inherently. There's more room to play with. A lot of really narrow OTF blades. And this one's double-edged, so it's not going to be a slicing dream anyways, but double-edged knives are more exciting, and OTFs are really, for me, just to be exciting. So I like the width. I like that compared to a UTX-85, which I've handled. I've owned an Ultratech and I've handled UTX-85s, although I haven't owned one. But compared to the UTX-85, the way this fills my hand feels really good, but it's not longer than I need it to be. It's not wider than I need it to be. It's still nice and slim, which is nice. It's fairly lightweight because it's aluminum. It's nice. I'm liking this size, the ergos, the way this fits in my hand. I'm digging it. I genuinely think like this might be finally a Microtech that is welcome to stay in my collection for a long time, and I won't just have for a month, two at the most, before selling, because it's like, I don't even care about that thing anymore. It was just fun because I wanted an OTF, which I get. I think everyone inherently wants a knife that does that. And you should. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Embrace it. This is a good time. There's a reason why it looks cool, sounds cool, feels cool. It is cool. But generally for me that wears off after a not so long period of time. And it's like then once I'm over that the knife does this and I realize there's nothing else in it for me, then it's not so fun. But like this knife I've carried as a secondary now 2 times. In the house, of course. And it carries great as a secondary. It's kind of right in that size where like the length is a little long for a secondary, but it's just light and slim and trim, and it's comfortable there in my back left pocket, just tucked away. The clip carries super deep now that I got rid of the glass breaker. We'll talk about that in a moment. And it carries great there, and it makes sense. And it's also nice because back left pocket, if I draw it with my left hand, this knife is super ambi. I can use this knife left-handed all day long because why not? Like, this totally works left-handed, which is great. And I mean, it's just, I'm liking it. So before I get any further into the video, I'm already over 5 minutes in. Look at me go. I did get this knife from Rivers Edge Cutlery. I always want to make a point to say that as well when I get a knife from Rivers Edge Cutlery, because they're my favorite. They're the best. I love those guys, and they'll be linked down below. And yeah, so I picked this one up hoping that it would be a good fit for me, OTF wise, and it kind of is. I've learned from experiencing a number of OTFs and now experiencing like the Dirac Delta, I do prefer when the switch is here on the kind of spine, right? Rather than being on the face on either side. I don't like that. I want it to be here because I like to use it as a thumb ramp if I'm in an aggressive dagger grip, or not dagger grip, aggressive saber grip, or it's just kind of an indexing point to have the switch here, and the switch is jimped and feels like a good logical spot to put my finger. So I like that. I didn't like it as much when it was on the side. And yeah, I like this size. I don't need it to be huge. The Combat Troodon is fun, but it's unreasonably big for me. And I don't know. I like it. I'm having fun with it. The double edge, to me, makes most sense in a dagger grip. And this is a tactical knife. I think Microtech is trying to be a tactical knife company. Now that I've replaced the glass breaker with this screw, reverse grip feels great for me. This is the right size. It's just, this is where double edge makes sense, in my opinion. So yeah, it's cool. And it works. And the size is good. And it fits my hand well. And like, I think it's my Goldilocks. I think I've kind of figured it out, which Microtech is right for me, which is really nice. I still want to try the Cypher. Those are, I'm finding a little bit difficult to find. And I don't want to just get any one. I'd like to get the one that I think will be a spec that I'll really like. But I've tried just about everything else OTF wise from their lineup. I haven't tried the Exo set yet, but that one's different. Yeah. So to make this knife work, to be totally fair, I did have to replace that. I do not like glass breakers. Don't like them one bit. I've ranted about them in a number of videos, even in the unboxing where I swapped this. If you want to see how easy it was, which it was very easy, I talked about I do not like glass breakers. I don't want them on any knife ever. And for me, like I said, the most important grip for me, or yeah, the most important grip for me on an OTF, especially with a double edge, is reverse grip. Now, in reverse grip, if I'm just like drawing through something, I don't need to have my thumb up here, right? But to me, something that's important to me if I'm in reverse grip is especially a dagger blade, which is designed to pierce into stuff. I need to have a good spot to put my thumb up here as a method of retaining the knife in my hand, so that if I were to jab into something that is harder than I anticipated, or whatever it is, that my hand doesn't want to slide down these edges of the blade. I want my hand to stay up here on the handle, and this is where my thumb should go to do that. The glass breaker, when it's here, ruins that grip. It ruins it. And this is such an easy fix, and Microtech, from what I understand, used to provide, or not provide, but used to offer, you could purchase screws that replaced the glass breaker and did exactly this. I think they should do that again. I think we should all tell them that we would like that to happen again, and when they offer it, we should put our money where our mouth is, and we should buy some, and we should use them, and we should enjoy them, because I think it is a better alternative than having a glass breaker on the knife. It also makes the knife actually carry deep. I'm going to be painting this screw black. I think I'll paint it. I'm not sure. I'm going to make it black in one way or another so that it matches the rest of this knife. But if you look at it, now all that sticks up above the knife, or yeah, above the clip when it's in your pocket, is this little screw up here. It's much less aggressive than, say, this sticking up out of your pocket. This pocket clip is perfectly deep carry all the way to the butt end of the knife. It's a great clip design, in my opinion. It's a little bit snug. I'm hoping that it kind of loosens with more use. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a chore to pull it out of pocket or push it in, because this kind of mid hump in there I find snags a little bit. Anyways, but it carries exactly the way I want a knife to carry. And when you don't have a glass breaker sticking up here, It's nice and flush. It's comfortable. It's not something for me to accidentally bash my hand against while it's in my pocket or anything like that. It's just more comfortable. It's better, and it works in a reverse grip. So I think that should become standard. I think the glass breaker should be the thing that you have to buy to put on the knife. I think if I had my way, it would just be a screw back here. And even maybe a more flush one than this would be great. I'll take this. I had to buy this on eBay because I could not find an actual Microtech one anywhere for sale, which is a bummer. But yeah, I'm enjoying this knife a lot. And it's nice that with that one little swap on here, that's the only thing that needed to be changed, that this knife came out of box, super fun action, great ergos for me, and excellent size, kind of right where I want it to be size-wise for my hands, which I wear medium gloves, but I fill them out real well. It's just it's no more, no less than I need it to be. I found with the UTX 85, it felt a little bit too small in my hand because it was narrower this way, right? Just a little bit less width on it. And other than that, like, they're the same length from what I understand, handle-wise. So the fact that that little bit of width just makes the difference for me. It just feels better, and I like it. So I guess that's my first impressions. I'll save some deeper thoughts for when I've carried a little bit more, used it a little bit more, and we'll do my full review in about a week. I will say as well, if you didn't watch the unboxing and clip or screw swap that I did, there is a plan for this knife as well. I am going to be doing a direct comparison in cutting performance between this and a single-edged manual opening out the side pocket knife, because I've heard claims made recently, and I talk about this in my unboxing, in my comment section and elsewhere, that this is as good of a cutting tool, because some first responders like to use them, as an out the side manual opening knife with geometry designed for cutting. This is designed for stabbing, for piercing, and it is a tactical knife. That is what they've gone for. This is not designed to be a pinnacle slicing tool. And so I will be illustrating why the people who make claims that this is as good of a cutter as knives like a PM2 or a Para 3. The Para 3 is probably the right size to put up against this. Maybe that's what I'll do. The people who claim that this is as good of a cutter for cutting seatbelts and rubber hoses and even cardboard, whatever it is, the Para 3 will be the better cutter. I can say that with absolute confidence because geometry matters. Geometry is what cuts. This has an edge on it. It has poor cutting geometry. It has great stabbing geometry. This will be better at piercing than the majority of folding out the side knives that are designed to cut. It will be less good at cutting than those knives will. So I'll be doing a direct comparison video, and I think that'll be fun. So that'll happen, as well as a full review after I've carried it and used it a little bit more. And yeah, I guess we'll see you on those ones. But thank you for watching. Thank you for checking it out with me. Again, Rivers Edge Cutlery will be linked down below. I keep saying it. They genuinely are some of my favorites in the community. Just an awesome retailer. They're great guys over there. So check them out if you haven't before. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.